Hi everyone, welcome to the TTB show, and my name is Rose Katlego, known as Rose Katlego, and we are doing reaction on the Soweto Derby as we did a preview before. And today I'm rolling with the same gentleman that I was with the last time. It's KB and Tammy. KB, how are you doing?
No, I'm doing well, Rose, and yourself.
No, I'm doing well. Tammy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, a bit of flu, but I'm okay. It's AKB.
We
Yeah, man. As I was saying, you know what, we're doing a reflection on the biggest derby in the continent. Did it live up to its expectation? Was it what we expected to be? I know we expected so many goals regarding your predictions, but we didn't get those goals. So we're gonna try and break it down. What caused as us to only have only one goal of the on the match. So I'm just gonna have your overall reflection of the game. Let's start with UKB. What was your overall reflection of the derby?
Rose, thanks, man. Well, I personally feel like I said somewhere that when you're expecting a huge game of the competition, there was too much noise coming into this derby, and I think it's because of Pirates is sort of competing for the league. There was people say it's a huge event instead of a huge game, you see. So I think that on its
Mhm.
own might have taken something off the field, but we need to give credit to Unabi, man. I think Nabi tactically first half he knew how to counter mark Pirates. Hence why Pirates couldn't really play at the back. I don't know if you noticed. I don't think there's a time where Pirates made 5 touches at the back. They always knew how to press them, which we will get into it. I'll try and demonstrate something when we go into it. And I think also pressure, Rose, sometimes can distract the game. Pressure on its own, because I didn't see much of endurance from especially Orlando Pirates players. I expected Tito to go on top of the ball, but that didn't happen. But what he did at that penalty, it's something. When I always say it's you need to have big balls to do that, man. Remember the last penalty that Pirates missed? It was missed by the same guy. So when I saw Uma Hopa having the ball and then handing it to Tito, I had the stadium all of a sudden went silent because I think everyone was recalling what happened at Cape Town, and then he went, he
Yeah.
scored. I
Yeah.
think in terms of goals, we expected goals, but we also forgot that it's a derby. And I think we always
Yeah.
compare in football. They always say you're only as good as your last game, and their last derby game, gave us 5 goals. Hence why we came into the game expecting derby, and I think more the team that is might be a bit disappointed is Pirates, mainly because we thought it was gonna be sort of a walkover because Chiefs hasn't been doing well, but Chiefs showed up, and I think Chiefs played very well. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Chief surprised a lot of people, I must say. So Tammy, do you share the same sentiments as KB?
Yeah, man. Look, I think let me start by saying for Orlando Pirates, the main objective they achieved it. For me, it was always gonna be about 3 points. I had fear that if Orlando Pirates was to lose that game, uh, the league was almost gone for them because I knew Sundowns was probably going to win their game against Golden Arrows. So we were going to be talking of a 9 points gap. And for me, that's the main thing for them. And I do actually agree with KP. I think it Derby received hype. There was a lot of noise before the game. I think everyone was excited, and for me, it's because of the two reasons. One is because Chiefs were on form before the Derby, and number two is because Orlando Pirates was expected to actually walk all over Kaizer Chiefs, and also the new signings by Kaizer Chiefs made Chiefs supporters to be very excited. But overall, Pirates got 30 points. We always say in South Africa, once you have 30 points, you can say you've already saved as far as relegation is concerned. So they are over the line. They've got the 30 points mark. Talking about the Panenka, oh, Tito, I mean, how do you do that? The last minute of the game, 94,000 packed capacity. It speaks volume about the player, speaks volume about the quality that Tito Masangani is. And I think people need to give credit where it's due as far as Tito is concerned. There was a lot of noise, if you remember, Rose, at the beginning of the season, or about how the player was off form and everything. And if you are watching closely, if you are watching carefully, Tito is back. Tito is playing well. But overall, for me, the derby was not up to the standard as we expected. But the main reason, Rose and KP, and I think people need to understand, the main reason why the derby did not deliver as many goals as people expected is due to the tactics that were deployed by Coach Napi. It frustrated Orlando Pirates, and I think KP will go on to actually outline exactly what I'm talking about. If you're looking carefully, Umodi and Shabalala, they made sure that they add into that midfield. So it always became a midfield of 4 players and 3. And it overcrowded Orlando Pirates. It made it so difficult for Orlando Pirates to start or at the back. Hence, the game was, in a way, very, very tactical. But for me, where Orlando Pirates won the game is the change to bring on Udlamini, because it meant now the coach was too smart to see that we're overcrowded. Now it was going to be 4-on-4. But for me, like I said, Rose, the game was not what people expected, but for Orlando Pirates, it's exactly what they needed. The last time I saw Orlando Pirates getting such goals was during the time of Root of Crown, and they went all the way to win the league. And I'm telling you, that was a huge win.
Wow, that was a huge win indeed. So we were last time when we predicted, you guys actually got it spot on. I think with Chiefs it was only 90%. Only the top one was not the player that was on the field. And I think with Pirates, as KB has said the last time, it's the same lineup that we all used to. So according to you, KB, can you please break down Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, how the derby, how it went down, how Chiefs was able to contain Pirates and how Pirates managed to finally, right at the end, try to get a goal out of this derby.
So I'm just gonna try and demonstrate how Pirates normally builds up from the back and how Nabi managed to kill it. So this is normally how Pirates starts. This would be Usi Pochaine, it would be Usi Sesani, and then CBC, you'd have Umakaula and Umbata, and then we would push up our full backs. But now look at what Chiefs does. They pushed Oranga. Oranga came here, and then they brought in what Utami just said, the Du and Umodi. They came in here. Now, this on its own, when Rose, what does it do? It gives you the idea that it means Ushine, as much as he can play his 2 center backs, they won't have enough time on the ball. Hence, why we would see a ball moving from here, or it would move from here, and then they would always try and play it low. Because the moment the ball is moving from China, it comes here, there's pressure. And then this guy would then close up in between them. Hence, why I think, Umbata. Most people said Umbata didn't have a good game, and they're right. The moment you have these 3, and then they had Ox, and then who's that guy? They had Umatlo. You see, so they always had what we always say a box in terms of marking us. So this was our box where we wanted to play. But if you've got these 3 people inside, remember this guy, he doesn't even have to mark any of them. You just stay in between them. So hence why we saw all the balls moving from here, having to go all the way that side, or it would move from here and go there and then play there, and then they were forced to play wide. I think here on its own, that's where Unabi got it right. Because if these 2 center backs are not playing, if China, go and look how many missed passes China made. If China is not being able to play, then the whole team kind of like looks lost. And now look at what I don't know if you remember the goal that the ball that who's this guy Upule missed, Upule Modi. Sasani had the ball, but because we always push up, everyone was pressed up, and then he lost the ball. Hence why we ended up seeing him going all the way, and then we had Usibisi, which for me, I felt he could have gotten a yellow card, but he got away with it because he pulled him. It's just that Upule Modi was strong enough. And then, so I personally, I'm not going to go too much, man, because if we break it down completely, the whole team, it's going to kill us. I think what Nabi did into stopping Pirates from building from the back, it dismantled Orlando Pirates, you see, in a sense that we couldn't build from the back. And then what went on to happen is what I realized, Tammy, maybe you will come in when I'm busy. The substitute of Udlamin. And this is what I always complain about when we talk about Umabasa being part of the the starting lineup, we don't make much box entries. In most cases, when we play Umabasa, we struggle with having shots at goals and all that. But you look at Dlamini. Dlamini comes in, his first touch, he gives Mabasa, what do you call, a quality ball, which Mabasa missed. And then the introduction of Mahopa, I always say. Now, that was a huge introduction. And I'm going to quickly try and demonstrate. I would love, there's certain people that say Mahopa must play center back. And now this is what I always say. You see the introduction of Mahopa, and this is how Chiefs was marking us. Hence why we got the penalty. I always tell people that if you don't look at Mahopa, then I don't know which game are you looking at. For me, Tammy, this is what the movement was doing. When we have Mabasa, Mabasa will always he will always play here. You get me? And if he's playing here, it means these two center backs will always remain here. You see? And then hence why I think even in the first half we saw Urile making the run and he dribbled but he couldn't score. But look at what happens when Hopa comes in. Because now all of a sudden we don't have a striker that is staying here. He moves up. What happens to these two center backs? They start doing what? Moving up. And all that we did is to play the ball behind them. And then Urile was there, and then we got a penalty. So that's the small importance of Hopa. As much as people don't see it, yes, he might not score too many goals. And you look at him, ever since he got in, I I think ever since he got in, I think Hoto almost scored as well. You see, so for me, that introduction from Jose really showed that he really wants to win the game. I don't know how you saw it, Tamim. You can move on.
Okay, thank you so much, KB, for those analysis. So I want to ask Tammy, we mentioned about the new signings for Kaizer Chiefs, and we also, in the second half, they were introduced. What was your take of Utabo Kele as well as Claude Lilepo?
Firstly, UKP broke it nicely, and I think the way you broke it with UKP, it's one reason that needs people to understand as to why the game was the way it was. It's a tactical brilliance of Coach Nabi, as well as also the reason it's why Orlando Pirates ended up getting their goal. You're mentioning the impact of both Udlamin and Makoba in that game. For me, they won us the game, or they won Orlando Pirates the game. Now, Rose, I think Chief supporters obviously were excited. 2 days before the derby, new signings. We saw the following day they were already training, all three of them, and we did mention on our pre-match talk that Tashik Morris was not going to be part of the squad because he's suspended. And as we predicted, it means Ulileb got the work permit on time. It means coach saw the need. It means the coach was impressed with what he saw on training, hence to be part of the 20-man squad. And to be honest with you, I think Kaizer Chiefs supporters should be excited. I think the two players that came in, for me, they showed quality. When you speak of Lepo, I saw pace. I saw a player that wants to play. I think you can see that the player was just playing in Europe. We can't say much, but from the glimpses of what you saw, I saw a winger that is really going to give Kaizer Chiefs a different dimension. Unlike Umoti or Umtushabalala or Uvilagazi, he's not the type of a striker, of a winger that's going to cut inside and whatnot. He's very direct. I think he can either be a winger or a false nine for me. And I think it's going to elevate Kaizer Chiefs. As for Tabatel, I think it's exactly what we expected. He still looks the player that Kaizer Chiefs wanted seasons back. He is going to play. He's going to bench Umati, like I said. I think he's going to give Umati, Uzwan, and Makyo serious competition. I think Kaizer Chiefs should be excited. I think it's exactly why most people are frustrated, because Kaizer Chiefs has really improved. And maybe Coach KP and Rose, some people are going to be asking themselves as to, why really they came in up at 1-0. For me, I think it's either of the two reasons. One, Pirates is becoming very predictable as far as how we play and the lineup. Number two, people are not seeing that Kaizer Chiefs has improved.
Mm, that's very true. Chiefs has really improved. And speaking of signings, Paris did not sign this transfer window. I mean, this January transfer window. They didn't sign any players. I want to ask a question to both of you guys. Let's start with KB. Do you think that it's having an impact on Pirates, them not bringing in new players? And do you think that they miss Saleng? Like we saw that they substituted Nkota in the second half. These type of games, don't you think that maybe Saleng was also needed on this game?
Rose, like I said last time, I was going into the game was solid. The only issue that I felt we could have signed, or the only position, was the left back. You see, and I still maintain that we should have just added a left back. But Osaling is a huge miss at Pirates, not only for this game. He has been a huge miss. It's just that when results are coming your way, we tend to forget. Saling is a huge miss, man. Not taking anything away from Nkota, but Saling brings a different element to the game, you see. And it shows you, if you look at Udu Hlokwe, and for me, totally, if I had to give a player man of the match in the first half, I was gonna say totally over Umakaula. I mean the first half only. Totally covered Udi Kloko very well. You know, I'm always impressed when I see a centre back not tackling. It really shows. So I think I don't know what's happening. No one seems to know exactly what's the issue with Osaleng, but whatever that's happening, if we are to compete in the remaining cups that we have, we need to bring Osaleng back, you see. And for me, players like your Kim Vudi, for me, they're still new signings, and I'll explain why. Kim Vudi, I feel there's more that he can offer us, but he's not been given that role. And it will touch into what Otami just said about maybe we're becoming predictable because we can all predict the starting lineup or this is how Pirates is going to play. And it shows now and then it shows the maturity of the young man or Mufukeng, hence why is maybe not marked. And sort of just to drag it, I just want to comment on something about Chiefs. Tammy, I think you are right. Chiefs is improving, but because we don't want to believe that, we don't want to believe the process of the project that is working, we will never see that. Because Rose, most people, when you say a project is coming along, you're expecting results. You see, I think that's where they are. So I honestly believe Pirates, because we didn't sign anyone. I personally thought, because Salim was a training, I personally thought that okay, maybe they'll bring him in. Maybe going into the next games, he will come in because, uh, come on, we can't always rely on when we bring Opaseka, we push Uhoto. Then if Paseka is injured or Uhoto is suspended, then who do we bring there? Do we keep like we ended up having to play Ukabel on the side just so he can play as a half 10? You see, and yeah, I mean, I think we do need Salim. We haven't signed. We need to get Salim back in the team.
That's quite true. It's evident. And Tammy, what do you think? New signings, Saleng, what's your take?
I think if I were to say much, I'd be actually repeating the same thing using different words. I think OKP is spot on. But for me, I'm always very careful as far as signings are concerned. And I'm saying this because I believed really that Orlando Pirates did not need major signings. Kaizer Chiefs is one team that needed to sign, and they did exactly that. For us, for Orlando Pirates, the only thing that needs to happen, and it's going to feel like a new signing altogether, they need to fix whatever issues they have with Saleng. Saleng needs to come back. Saleng is the one person that's going to carry Orlando Pirates into either winning the Net Bank, either winning the Champions League, or even going as far as winning the Belgian Premiership. Saleng is one. If you when you speak of players with high PMT, I can only think of Saleng. In all big games, where he's been playing well or poorly in the previous games, come a big game, Saleng comes in. And remember, he's one player that does not just play, he gives you goals in big games. I think we just need to sort our issue with Saleng. I do not have a problem with the fact that the team did not sign, because for me, I did not really see quality in the market that was available as far as wingers are concerned. So I'm not going to be worried about that. I think we're fine. We sort our issues with Saleng, and we're good to go. But Rose, just to close it off, I think we don't praise this player enough. I think Uhoto needs to be given credit where it's true. He is one player that is always being moved around with no complaints. I want somebody to tell me the last time they said Hoto had a bad game. Yes, he's not going to. I'm telling you, the past 2 seasons, the player has been super consistent. Whether playing left back, whether playing half winger, it does not matter. But UKP is correct. We need to fix Salem so that we do not depend on one thing of changing Ohoto, playing up wide, and then Marco playing at the left back.
Guys, I'm going to put you on the spot. Please give me at least two players that you think were, they put up their hand, on the derby and they were impressed, like you guys were impressed by those players? Which were your top performance for the day?
Rose, for me, PSS, my sister. Pirate Security Service, Maketleni Makaula. If if we were to cut age, I would say, can we cut age for Makaula, man? That guy, I think he's the guy who helped Pirates not to lose that game. That's me. He was killing everything. He did almost everything. And for Chiefs, there's one thing that excited me. Umatlo, there's a time where he went spy two and he raised his hand. He's counting his spy twos whenever he gives the or one, two. That for me, Rose, that's what you wanna see in a derby. It took me back to when we heard about Tiko Mudisa, which is boy. And then on the other hand, you will see people talking about Abu Skara, Abu Simpwe Chava, the excitement. So for me, those two stood up, man. I know Tito would always relay, yeah, but Makihleni for his job, and then oh, Omatlo, for a player that hasn't been playing for 9 months to do that is sold out. It's something. And so for me, those two really.
Yeah, no, that's true. Matlo has had two good games. The previous game was man of the match, and you saying that he also impressed you in this derby, and also Makawala was also man of the match. And then your take, time, which player stood out for you?
Can I first say I was very impressed tactically by Coach Nabi. I think I really want to say that out. One, you know that key selection of leaving out Cross for Dikokwe. That was very important. It needs to be highlighted. But if we were to go to players at the side of Orlando Pirates, Omakawula, we are going to have a problem. We are going to really struggle if we do not get a player that's going to cover for us. If we're not going to get a player that's going to go and play as close as Makawula is playing. And I'm going to say this. We keep wanting every player to be modern. We do not need Makawula to be a Busquets.
Yes.
We do not need Makawula to play the ball. He is perfecting his role at Orlando Pirates currently. So it's Makawula and Dion Horto for me. The man always gives 100% work rate. And for Kaizer Chiefs, I think the Ivory Coast, the Angolan defender, who Inacio Miguel, I think he played really well. I think Chris Bruma played exceptionally well. Oh my God, I think we've been saying this. I think ever since he came back, he's bringing something different. We have Utito and Pirates. I think Kaizer Chiefs are going to smile with Umaito. The sooner they get him playing with Utabatel and Mtentwa, they're going to smile. I think with the club did a steady job against the speedy wingers at Orlando Pirates. So those are the players.
Wow, okay. So what I'm getting from you guys is that Chiefs need to continue with this rhythm that they have. I feel like Chiefs can build on from this performance. If they can look at this game and see how everyone performed, they can build on this performance. So you know what, guys? There's so many things that we can talk about, but we only have so little time. But I just want to say thank you so much. Hopefully next week we'll be back, analyzing another game. You know what? Thank you so much for your analysis. Thank you, KB, and thank you, Tammy. We'll see you guys soon on the TTB show. And don't forget to subscribe so we can reach 1,000 subscribers. Bye.